What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of 3-Point Lead. As you can see, my space has changed. I'm back in my recording studio, my office. You can see the Nick Chubb helmet next to me. As this series goes on, there will be more above my head, more behind me. But for now, this is what you're getting. Hopefully improved production quality for you guys as well. But today is the bottom feeder episode. Now, I don't want to use the term lightly. I really do believe that the Commanders and the Patriots are the two bottom feeders in the Eastern Division, AFC, NFC. However, I think they're going to surprise some people, especially when you look at the schedule and who they have, the opportunities that they have as time goes on, and when you look at your win total. So I will start with the Washington Commanders here. I'll pull up the depth chart for you. We'll talk very briefly about them, but I'm not super high on them. I know we talked yesterday. I am going to give them a win very, very late in the season against Philadelphia, but we'll get to that when we come to it. Pull up the depth chart for you. All right. So obviously the big move is Jaden Daniels, and I love it. He was my number two. Full transparency, Jaden Daniels was my number two. But, at what point do you believe that your offense is going to show up and produce right away with the rookie quarterback? Because I don't think they're set up with their infrastructure along their offensive line to do it. They really struggled to protect Sam Howell last year. It was really bad. I mean, I like Terry McLaurin a lot. I like Brian Robinson a lot. They bring in Austin Eckler, obviously, but Jahan Dotson, Luke McKeff, I don't love that. Zach Ertz is a little bit old. Defensively, they have a good defensive line. The secondary was an issue last year. They brought in secondary and defensive line both. Brought in some ex-Cowboys to hopefully help them, but they bring those guys in. I don't love it, to be fully honest with you. The defense scares me. I think the offense will be able to be explosive. They'll be fun to watch. They can put up some points, but will they win games? I don't know. Let's pull up the schedule. All right. The Washington Commanders schedule. Week 1 kicks off at Tampa Bay. That's a loss. Hosting the Giants week 2. Now, I think about the Giants schedule. I think they probably lose week 1 to Minnesota. I think the Giants get a little bit of a bounce back a little bit here. Wild as I was about to say, I trust Daniel Jones and the experience they have on that roster over the Commanders roster. Giants beat the Commanders. Commanders start 0-2. Commanders on the road against the Bengals, 0-3. Commanders on the road against the Cardinals the next week. I'll give this one to the Commanders. I think the Commanders win this game. This is one of the wins that they get. I mean, you look at what happened last year, week 1, obviously different teams, different players, but I think they could get this done. I think this is a game that's very winnable for the Washington Commanders. I think they do. Hosting the Browns the week after that, no way. They're going to be 1-4 there. On the road against the Ravens the week after that, no way. They're going to be 1-5, right? We got Bucks, Giants, Bengals, beat the Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, so 1-5. The next week they host the Panthers. And I like what they're building in Carolina, but I think this is a spot where Washington can bounce back after a couple tough losses, win this one, so 2-5. Next week against the Chicago Bears. This is the Pardon My Take Bowl. I'm going to pick the Bears. I think they're a better team than the Washington Commanders are. Next week against the Giants. I'm trying to eliminate any bias here. On the road in New York. You know what? I'll give this one to the Commanders. I think the Giants and the Commanders split. So we got 3-6 now. 3-6. Hosting the Steelers the week after that. Loss. On the road against the Eagles after that. Primetime. This is the one I have them losing. So loss. That's 3-8. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that'll work out. So they get a mini bye to host Dallas. I mean, they're not going to beat Dallas. That's 3-9. Host Tennessee. Do they really beat? Are we confident they're going to beat Tennessee? I'm not. I think the way it matches up, Tennessee's pass offense is really good. I think they could exploit Washington secondary like nobody's business. I don't. I'll go Tennessee. On the road against the Saints, I think they can pull that one off. So that's 4 wins. This is where I have them beating the Eagles at the very end of the season, 5 wins. And then I mean, I think they lose the last two to Atlanta and Dallas. So that's 5-12 for the Washington Commanders. And when I talk about bottom feeders, I think that, well, we'll see what happens with the New York Giants schedule. But I think that's the bottom feeder of that division right now. I mean, you have a win against Arizona. You have a win against Carolina. You have a win against the Giants. You have a win against the Saints. And you have a win against the Eagles. I mean, this team is not built to win more than 7 games, I don't think. At least not right now. I like the direction that they're headed. I don't think they're built to win more than 7 games down the line. I mean, yeah, I think this is the bottom feeder, and we'll talk about the Patriots. Patriots will be the bottom feeder in their division as well, but it's not for lack of talent. I'm going to move away from the little shared screen here. But it's not for lack of talent. Like I do genuinely think the Washington Commanders have some talent on their roster and they're headed in the right direction, undoubtedly. But how realistic can you be about the season right now with Washington? I don't think they're a 7+ win team. I know people talk about them sneaking in because they did a couple years ago, you know, that bad year in the NFC East when they had Taylor Heineke. Like, that's a different team. It's a different staff. Just because they've done it in the past differently in the same uniform. Actually, it wasn't even the same team. It was the Washington football team, not even the Commanders. But I don't think they get in. I think that's a bad expectation for them to win more than 7 games. I think when you look at this team, I'd say 7 is their ceiling. I think 3 is their floor. So between 3 and 7, I think 5 is right there. I think that's perfect for the Commanders. 5-12. We'll move to the New England Patriots in 1 second. I'll pull up that little depth chart for you guys. But before I do, let me get this off. Before I do, I want to give a quick little shout out to our sponsor, Better Picks. If you guys aren't on Better Picks, make sure you go. You can go to our profile and on any of our socials. If you're watching on YouTube, in the description. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. But you can go to any of the socials to join there with code LEADS. That's LEADS. You get 100% of your first deposit match up $250. You can pick more or less on your favorite players during the season and before the season for their season totals and win up to 1,000 times your entry. And once August rolls around, we're going to start talking about the players we like for those 1,000 time entries. You don't want to miss out. Get your free cash while you can. Join Better Picks. It is the way to go. Again, in my socials or on all of my socials, the link in my bio, the Better Picks link is there. Make sure you join if you haven't already. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. I think this is a team that, I mean, like I said, I called them bottom feeders for a reason, right? Like, obviously, you see Jacoby Brissett as the number 1 quarterback. I think Drake May starts week 1. I think this is a smokescreen. I love Ramondre Stevenson. I think Ramondre Stevenson's really good. I do think they do have some talent in the playmaker room, if you will. I am a big Pop Douglas guy. I think DeMario Douglas is a very, very good player. He's an explosive slot guy. I think he can provide a lot of value for what the Patriots are going to try to do in the offense. Another guy slept on, KJ Osborne. We'll see what happens with him, see how much he plays. But those guys, Jalen Poole, Kendrick Bourne was having a really good year last year before he got injured. Obviously, they have Hunter Henry. I mean, defensively, I think with Matt Judon coming back, and he is at camp, Matt Judon coming back adds a huge, huge boost to this team. I think Matt Judon is a very, very talented player. He's a player that's like a genuine difference maker on your defense. Christian Barmore, very, very similar, genuine difference maker. Christian Gonzalez coming back after, how many games did he play last year? Like 4 games, like a quarter of the season last year, regardless of how many he played. He's coming back. He's going to be in better shape, recovered from an injury, and was unbelievable last year when he played. You have a solid corner. You got some good DBs. Jabril Peppers, one of the most underrated DBs in the entire NFL. I've talked about that a couple times as well. Just solid defense, but the defense can keep them in games. Can the offense do enough to win them games? I'm fascinated to see. We'll pull up the schedule right now, how many wins we have here. Yesterday, we talked about the New York Jets and the Patriots games. We had the Jets sweeping, so the Patriots will not take a game from the Jets, but let's go through their schedule right now. I'll pull it up for the YouTube people right now. Share this. All right, so week 1. Week 1 for the New England Patriots at Cincinnati. I mean, that's a loss. Week 2, hosting Seattle. Look, this is a game, I think, home opener, new regime, good defense against an offense that's, I mean, I think they match up really well. I don't think Seattle's going to have a ton of success on the ground. I actually think the Patriots win this game. I think they win this game, so they go 1-1. They lose to the Jets. Next week against the Niners, no shot. Week after that against the Dolphins, they're going to be sitting at 1-3 at home against Miami. Again, I'm not going to pick. I think Miami wins this one, but that's very, very tough. Even on the road, Houston coming in there, a much better team. Actually, not even going to Jacksonville. This is London game, Jacksonville. I think this is a winnable game for the Patriots. I think they could sneak out of London with a win here. I think the Jaguars are a team that will play down to their opponent. So I think the Patriots win this game here. So we're sitting at what? 1 win against Seahawks, 3, 4, 5. 2 wins against the Jaguars, 2-5, 2-6. They won't be the Jets either time this year. I know it's a take that a lot of you guys won't agree with. I don't think they beat them either time. We move to on the road against the Titans. Look, I think the Titans are better than people give them credit for. I'm going to pick Tennessee. On the road against Chicago, I will probably be at that game for anybody watching. Again, I think that the Bears are just a more complete team. I don't think the Patriots offense could keep up with Chicago's offense. I think hosting the Rams are a better and more complete team. Here's the thing, though. I think now Miami gets into the back half of their schedule. Even if they're home, I think they lose November 24th against the Patriots. I think the Patriots sputtering after what would be 1, 2, 3, 4 straight losses somehow find their footing. I think Drake May gets better with time, so they win there. Hosting the Colts on December 1st, I think that's the Colts game to lose. I think the Colts win that one. Here's where it gets really interesting. The Patriots right now, we have them sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4-9. I genuinely think they could rip off 4 wins to end the year. I do. On the road against Arizona, I think the Patriots win that game. Here's where on the road against Buffalo week 16 is tough. If it was flipped, where the more meaningful game week 16 versus week 18, because they play Buffalo again week 18. If it was flipped, and I'll scroll down actually for the YouTube people watching, if it was flipped where the Bills were on the road against New England week 16, because I think week 18 could almost not matter to the Bills depending on how the schedule shakes out, it would be a different story. But I think the Patriots dropped that game on the road against Buffalo. I mean, I think they beat the Chargers at home in week 17. But then I go back and forth this last game against Bills Patriots. So right now the Patriots will be sitting at 6 and they're sitting at 6-10. Is this a 7-win football team with a first-year head coach, a rookie quarterback? I don't think it is. I'll give the Bills both wins. As wild as that sounds, the Patriots going 0-6 in their division is a very real thing. But the Patriots finish at 6-11 again with wins against. We'll scroll through the schedule again. Week 2 against Seattle. It would be week 4, 5, 6, 7. Week 7? Week 7 against the Jaguars. Did I say Miami? Yeah. Okay, so they're going to go 1-5 in the division. So week 12 against Miami. Hold up, I'm missing a Patriots win here. Let's scroll back through. We got win against the Seahawks. We got win against the Jaguars. That's 2. Oh, maybe I have them at 5. So Seahawks, Jaguars. Dolphins on the road. Patriots on the road beat the Dolphins. They beat Arizona. They beat the Chargers. I'll give them the last win against the Bills as well. So we'll go 6-11 for the New England Patriots. Bills, Chargers, Cardinals, Dolphins, Jags, Seahawks. That's 6-11 for the New England Patriots. I think that's realistic. I think ceiling, they're just below 500 floor. I think offensively it could go terribly wrong for them. So I will put them at a 3-win floor. But I think that's a very reasonable explanation, a very reasonable way to look at it. 6-11 for the Patriots, 5-12 for the Washington Commanders. I'll come back full screen for you guys here. But I appreciate you guys watching the second episode of the record predictions. Tomorrow will be the wild cards, no pun intended, with the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and the Dallas Cowboys. Those are really fascinating. Those are very, very interesting teams, especially as you look at their schedules. Like Dallas is Dallas going to be in for a rough one because they were the second wild card team last year. Obviously, now they're playing. Who's the out of conference division this year? Who am I forgetting? Who am I blanking on here? Out of conference division is the North, right? Yeah. Out of conference division is the North. Obviously, you play 4 NFC North teams. Can they get in the playoffs? I don't know. I think they can win enough games where they're competitive, but it might take 11 wins this year to get a wild card spot in the NFC. And you guys saw I predict the Eagles at 12-5, so that wouldn't put them ahead of Philadelphia. That's definitely one to watch. AFC East, I'm not going to tell you who I'm picking to win that division. We had the Jets going, 11-6? 11-6. I mean, you look at the Dolphins, the Bills schedule, I gave you a win and a loss on each of them right now. I don't know. That division is going to get really, really heated. I'm fascinated to see how that shakes out with the wild cards and the tiebreakers too, because we will be putting all of this into Playoff Predictor as well and making sure we see tiebreakers, who beats who beats who when, things like that, division records to ensure that everything is accurate. We will do that moving forward. But I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys listening. Episode 3 will be out tomorrow, July 25th. God bless you guys. We'll see you next time.